What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Whiteout Survival video with your friend, Godfather. Today, we're going to be talking about Bear Trap, specifically bear strategy that we call Chill Bear. So, in most alliances that you start out with, you're going to be doing what we call a full march bear, where you're going to be sending your biggest rallies with the best heroes possible to every of the 6 rallies that you can join, and the 7th being your own to score as many points as possible. But as you progress through the game and your alliance gets bigger, those optimal big whale rallies become harder and harder to get. You'll often hear the term fast finger bear or competitive bear. What that emphasizes is an individual's max score. But what happens to the rest of the folks that miss it? What happens to the folks that are not in the front line? Well, they genuinely get less points, and therefore the alliance gets less damage overall. So in our chill bear strategy, and no credit to us, we learned this from older states that have encountered the same issue, we focus on evening out how many joiners in each rally. Currently, with our level set, our max rallies can handle 1.2 million to 1.4 maximum troop capacity. That allows for 80,000 troops per joiner at maximum. So imagine this, every rally going across the board with 15 joiners getting the best hero skills for your specific rally to go through. So let's get into some of the details now in terms of how do you set this up. So with your own rally, you're going to select your strongest lineup, essentially your main march. We're currently at Generation 5 heroes, so we've got a little bit different than maybe what you may have. I recommend that you look up some of the other videos posted in the pinned comments below. So let's start out. Main march. You want to send your full march. You also preferably want to be buffed for your maximum points possible. That includes your capacity buff, that includes your damage up, your lethality, and your enemy defense down buff. And then just pop open all your battle pets abilities as well. This is going to increase your capacity in your rally. This is going to increase your damage and lethality and decreases the bear defense. Overall, it should give you a big boost. The further on you are with pets specifically, it'll even give you faster marches to and from bear, which means that you can get in more rallies. So, preferably speaking, for your main rally, you either want to go with a 2-2-6, so 20% infantry, 20% lancer, 60% marksman, or a 1-2-7, which is 10% infantry, 20% lancers, 70% marksman, or if you're really high up there with your archer class in Gen 5, you may even opt to go with what I like to use, which is a 1-1-8. So that's 10% infantry, 10% lancer, and 80% marksman. I believe in Generation 6 and beyond, that is also a good formation to be using. Just make sure that the formation that you use maximizes the troops that you have available to yourself. As a joiner, this is where it gets fun. Remember, we have an 80k limit. You can debate that higher whale rallies having a 1.4 million capacity could take more, and if you're looking to min-max and you have great coordination with your alliance, by all means, min-max it. It allows for it. For most of us, we're going to be looking at 80k as your limit. It's a general rule of thumb. So here you want to employ 2 different formations potentially. So it's a 1-2-7, so 10% infantry, 20% lancers, 70% marksmen, which equals to 8,000 infantry, 16,000 lancers, and 56,000 marksmen. Or you can employ a 118. This is a slippery slope though. If you join in a rally that isn't as strong, 118 is kind of hit or miss. So take it at your own risk. 118 is 10% Lancers, 10% infantry, 80% marksmen. That's 8,000 of each Lancer and infantry and 64,000 of your marksmen. That's your joiner squad. Now, heroes are important, and this is where some debate can come in. Preferably, you want to be using your 25% damage boosting heroes. And fortunately for all of us, we get those very early on in the game. That is your Jesse, your Jasser, and your Seo-Yoon. Now, if you're fortunate enough and spent in some VIP areas, you may potentially have Geronimo. But I would recommend that if you have Geronimo at 4 stars, you're probably using him in your main march. So here's the list that we allow for additional joiner heroes. Geronimo, like we just mentioned, Reyna, Gwen, and Mia. So if you're using any of these in your main march, obviously you can't use them as joiners. I personally, and this is just a personal preference, we generally have roughly 20 plus people joining in our bears. The one that you're seeing on screen right now has about that number. We genuinely don't go without one of those 25% buffs in all the rallies. So all 4 slots for joiner hero bonuses are generally taken up by those 25%. Because of my current power level as compared to others in the Alliance, I personally choose not to send any of those chance heroes that we mentioned, so that way I'm not taking up a spot and making large variabilities in the score. So let's talk about when to launch your rallies. It's important that you don't launch everybody at the same time, because you're going to have empty rallies. So if you notice in this bear, we've got a space around it. Your bear may be different. So it depends on your trap formation or your trap setup on when to launch it. For this specific one, it is 9 seconds of march time to maybe 11 seconds for the first line folks. So they launch immediately when bear starts. The second line would launch at 28 minutes on the countdown timer. That is holding back their rally for 2 full minutes before they launch. And this will get the sequence going. So first line launches, second line, and everybody joins, as many as those are. There are 12 bases around the bear in the first line. The second line would then launch at 28 minutes, and you start the cycle that way. And if you've been watching the video, you could see that there are waves that come into it, and you start seeing decreasing times because of the variability in people's marches. So let's take a look at a very different bear setup. War, as an example here, doesn't have any space around them. So we changed the launch times for our rallies. In this particular case, you would have your second line launch at the start and your first line start at 28:30 on the countdown timer. Sounds crazy, but as the cycle goes, it works. Now, last piece of advice, avoid skipping. Don't let anybody else in your alliance do it either. It throws off the sequence. It makes you do less rallies because you are waiting longer for your marches to come back. So avoid that gut instinct of yours to jump into the big whale rally because you're afraid you're going to miss it. Trust the process. Join from the top of the list to the bottom of the list and wash, rinse, and repeat to score big points. And there you have it, everybody. The Chill Bear Strategy. Want to send a big thanks to our friends at TLK for teaching us this method. It has been wonderful for us. I hope that you guys have gained something out of this video. Let me know in the comment section. Did you try it out? Did it work for you? Did it not? Are you having any issues? Do you have a better way of doing it? Would love to hear from you. But until next time, see you then.